Okay, so yeah, today we will be discussing about the training for TL7 product. So what we will do is we will, go through each and every step of the product, starting with the home screen, and then we will move forward towards different applications and the feature set that are available with us, right? So first and foremost, let me, just configure my device here with my phones so that it gets easier. Uh, Wi-Fi hotspot 86 is on. Now, first thing first is while we are already here, as you can see, the screen supports all kind of connectivity options. So we do have the Wi-Fi, we do have the Ethernet port as well available. We do have hotspot and Bluetooth and VPN and Samba services. In places where you do not have Wi-Fi or where you do not want to share your Wi-Fi access, let's say with your guests or with your students, you can always turn the hotspot on of the display and tell the participants to connect with the screen directly. In this case, it's going to be a peer-to-peer connection and the devices will be speaking with each other. Another reason of why we recommend to have a hotspot connectivity with your devices in the room or in the classroom is because of the fact if you're connecting with your local Wi-Fi, the monitor is also connected with your local Wi-Fi. In this case, the data will be transmitted all the way to your, switches and routers, maybe coming back through the firewall, right? Which will delay and maybe impact the performance when you're sharing your content wirelessly onto the display. But if it's a hotspot connection, it's a peer-to-peer connection and it's direct, right? So the performance gets very seamless relatively. Now, so to start with, first thing first, this is how your home screen looks like. Okay. Now, when we talk about the home screen, there are few parts to this thing. First is the quick pane, which is again, available on all sides of the screen. So wherever I'm standing, I have the access to all these tools whenever I want to access them, right? Another thing is we do have couple of widgets, over here. These are completely editable. So let's say right now, because I'm not logged in into my account, I can remove the cloud storage. Plus I, do not want to have maybe my browser links. So I can always go there. Or let's keep the browser here. Let's delete the OneQ application from it. Now, when you go back, so I want only these three widgets for now. I can always add another application in this part if I want to as a default application. Maybe it can be your own application that your organization is using, right? And then the browser is pretty basic. And we also have got an instruction button over here. If you click on this, it will take you to a web page where it will take you through the same process that I'm showing you right now, step by step, what each part does. And those are linked with each and individual video for that specific part as well. You can get your basic hands-on training using the instructions too. And then YouTube, Quiz and Learning Hub, we will discuss this later on. So this was the quick pane. This is a screen skills guru button. Now this is an online live support from the manufacturer side, from our side, right? You will not be taken to any bot. You will not be taken to any form. You will actually be able to speak with a live person whenever you want training. It is as simple as you click on the button, it's going to open up the application for you, right? And then there are various ways of connecting with this team. So this team, can have a video call, audio call, messaging services from this app. This app is also available on Android phones, tablets, iOS devices, Windows, MacBooks. Plus, besides this application, you can also reach these guys via WhatsApp, phone, email as well, right? So that's one thing. Now, on the center over here, this floating window, this is the one screen share application, which is primarily responsible for pretty much all kind of, within classroom or within room screen sharing, collaboration, controlling, so on and so forth. We will, get to this down the line. On the top right hand side, we have audio, like the speaker volume, hotspot, Wi-Fi, and a sign-in button, which I will jump to it right now. Now, so to start with, this is how the overall interface looks like. Why do we have a sign-in button? So the idea behind having a sign button is to avoid bringing in your flash drives, your laptops in order to access your files, right? Today, if you have, let's say, a Google account or a Microsoft Office 365 account, right? You can use the same accounts to log in over here. All you have to do is go through a simple sign up process once, and then every time, all I have to do is just click on the sign button, scan this QR code from my phone, right? So that nobody else sees my password and all. And because I have done this before, it is pretty similar. All I have to do is just click on the login button and it's going to log me in. The idea behind this is I do not need to bring any kind of device within the room. All I have to do is just go over here, scan the QR code, log into my account, and as you can see, it has its own personalization as well. So this is my wallpaper. This is my cloud storage because I have used Google, so it's giving me my cloud storage of the Google. And then we have these apps that I have chosen as default apps for my usage, right? And then the browser is also there. Now keep in mind these are my personalized settings. Wherever I go in the world, right, with any of those OneScreen products, all you have to do is just go through the same process. Click on the sign in, scan the QR code, you will have the same interface, same wallpaper, everything remains the same for you. So this is your personalized space. Let's start with pretty basic. So over here we have got a couple of buttons here, back, home, recent. These are three standard Android buttons, right? Then we have got write, which is the whiteboarding application. A file explorer, this gives you the ability to quickly, navigate through the files which are inside the monitor on its own memory, or maybe connected, you have connected a flash drive, or I want to access my cloud storage over here. This is where the explorer comes into the picture. Then we have a basic browser. These are a couple of apps that comes pre-installed. However, if you still think that you need something besides these pre-installed application, you can always go to OneScreen Store, which is essentially a Play Store. It is an actual Play Store. You can log in using your Google account and download the apps that you need. So for instance, Netflix, Anatomy, Google Earth, Teams, Zoom, and so on and so forth. These are the applications that we have downloaded from the Play Store, right? Volume is similar as the one on the top. Annotate. Annotate allows you to practically write on anything which is on the display, right? It gives you the ability to annotate or scribble on whatever is on the display at that moment of time, right? Then we have a capture. It allows you to capture a certain part of the screen. You can save it, or maybe you can make it a part of your whiteboarding session, which I will show you down the line. Menu button. This button allows you to quickly jump between multiple inputs, right? So the monitor has three HDMI inputs, one Type C and one also, this legacy VG inputs. Now one of those HDMIs and Type C is on the front for your ease, right? So you can just connect your devices directly. Keep in mind that Type C also delivers power, which means you can charge your devices at the same time while you're having your meetings or, discussions. Then if you go into the more sections, these are a couple of tools which is mainly related to the educational part, but you got timer, freeze, stopwatch, spotlight, lock screen, one screen class, recording the whole screen, PC, calculator, and couple of gestures. I'll show you all those one by one down the line, right? Keep in mind the last four buttons on this pane, it's always editable. Let's say I do not want to have a menu here, but I still want to have, let's say, one screen class button here. Or I do not want to have a volume here. I want to have my lock screen for my ease. I can always go back and I can just simply click on this button and it's going to lock my display for me. Now keep in mind, because I'm logged in right now, it will take my passcode that I have saved before, right? It will not take any other passcode. Now as a user, if I have stepped out of the room and I'm not planning or intending to come back, I can either log out from my phone again using the same phone, or the other person who wants to use the display, they can just simply log out from here. So in this case, whatever I was doing, the other person will not have the access to that data, and it screen will come back to the guest account, right? So right now it's this one. Now let's start with very basic. Right, this is our OneScreen whiteboarding application. No. Now first thing first is, you might be observing this, that this monitor supports a windowed operation, which means I can open multiple applications within the Android environment itself. I'm not bound to use one app, but I can use multiple apps simultaneously, right? I can also assign a dedicated space to these applications. So for example, I want to have my whiteboard onto the half left of the screen, and it will ask me what do I want to open on the right hand side. So for instance, let's say I want to have a browser in here. So now this is my browser. We can always adjust this just like we adjust on our phones or on our tablets here. So we'll come down to this down the line. Let's maximize this. Now when we talk about the whiteboarding part, there are three sections to this thing. So first section, second, and the third. First section is mainly your file menu kind of a section where you can go into the menu, you can create a new document, open old, save. You can also import different kind of documents directly onto the whiteboard. You can also export into the same format as well. So whatever we are doing on the board, this can be saved in various formats. Then we have cloud storage. The idea behind having this button over here is because I'm logged into my account. I do not want to save anything on the monitor, onto the flash drive. Whatever I have done over here, I can just save directly to my cloud storage, and then I can go back to my desk and access the same files from there. Then theme. This gives you the ability to change the templates on the background or the color of the background. I generally prefer black, so I'm just going to keep it black for now, right? Then we do have sending an email option. In this case, the email comes pre-configured for you. It's more like a no reply at onescreensolutions.com, right? The good part here is you can send email to an individual, to a group of people. You can also attach files in the same email while you're sending this whiteboarding session. So they know what references are there and what was the discussion on basis on which file or document, right? Then we have a share button, which I will show you down the line, exit and list. List essentially shows you what kind of documents are already saved onto the monitor. So you can just click on the list and open a relevant document, right? Center part is, this is the part where it covers most of your tools. All the whiteboarding tools are in this part, right? On the right hand side, you have the pages management. So you can add as many pages as you want over here. You can delete those pages. The good part here is you can have various background or different kind of backgrounds for each page separately as well. Plus, we have also given you this small support, the same Guru link which was there on the home page. At any given point of time when you're delivering a lecture or when you are, taking a session, you need any kind of help with any tool, you can speak with these guys directly and, get your help sorted. So you do not need to wait for your partner or a reseller or a distributor from where you purchase the product. You get the support directly from the people who made it, right? So first thing first, this is a basic selection tool, so there is really nothing fancy in this. In the pen section, if you see a small arrow besides any of these tools, which means there is something more to it. So you just tap twice. Now, when you look at this stylus, there are two sides to this thing. One is a thinner side, the other one is a thicker side. I can tell the screen how it will react on each side of the pen. So let's say on the thinner side, I want to have my basic pencil in white color, and this is the thickness. On the back side, I want to have maybe this shape tool, and also let's say in green color, this thickness, right? Now, if I use the thin side, so for example, ball, pretty easy, right? But the moment I use the back side, let's say I'm trying to, draw a kind of an apple, it's going to detect what I'm trying to draw, give me a couple of clip arts to choose from, and then I can use those. So it gives you, kind of this neat and nice, clip art feeling in here. Now, selection is pretty easy. You can always play with the things. Whatever you are doing onto the whiteboard, everything you can manipulate with. You can, change their sizes. You can change their colors if you want to. You can also rotate them. So everything you can manipulate with these things, right? Let's keep it on the side. Now coming back to the pen side here, let's say I have done something, I'm writing something and I want to erase anything. I can either use my basic hand gestures like an eraser here, or I can use this dedicated eraser tool and adjust the size of the eraser that I want to have. Or if I want to clean the whole page, I'll just simply click on the clean button, which will delete everything that is on the page. Now, coming back to the pen part, now there is also the shape. Besides the shape, we also have a text recognition. So in this part, I want to have this. Again, so on the front side, I have a basic pen, but on this side now, on the back side, I've got this tool. What it will do is it will essentially try to understand what you're trying to write in English only, right? And then give you a result. However, not just this, but whatever I have written over here as well, I can also use this, select it, and I can click on the smart write. In this case, it will do essentially the same thing, but it will also give me a couple of options to choose from. Sometimes our handwritings are not good, so it will try and give you a couple of options what you are trying to write. In this case, it detected it just fine. Let's make the color orange in this case, right? Let me delete this. Let's also delete this line for now. Now, at any given point of time, if I need information on a specific word that I have written, I can just simply click on this and click on this button which is called search. What it does is it's going to open up the same browser for me and search for that word that I have written, right? Now the good part here is, let me just put on the right hand side. Good part here is I have the ability to actually copy and paste or maybe drag and drop details directly from a browser or from any other application, and I can just choose what I want. Let's say I want to copy this text and just bring it in here, right? In the same format, if there is an image that I want to bring, maybe I want to bring this picture into my whiteboard. All I have to do is just wait for the picture to load, keep my finger, press on this, and once that is done, I can drag and drop this image, right? So essentially, whenever you're dragging and dropping any content from the browser, it can be pretty much in any language, English or Arabic or French or Spanish, you name it, right? And then we are back to our whiteboard. Again, whatever I'm doing, it is all editable, so I can always play with this thing. I do not want this right now. I can just simply delete this. Let's bring this over here. This is essentially a selection, pen, eraser, and a clean tool. We've got a couple of more tools which are related to you to the maths part, right? So for example, I want to have a ruler over here. I can use this. Let's have my pencil this time around in red color. To draw a line, I can draw a line. It will also give me the size of the line that I have drawn. I can also rotate this if I want to. At any given point of time, if I want to adjust the size of this, I can also do that too, right? Once I'm done with this tool, I can just simply close. Let's keep it on one side, or let's make it a little smaller as well if we want to. Correct? In the same fashion, you also have rest of the tools to play with, right? Now, besides this, we have shape tools. Now, as you can see again, there is a small arrow, so I'll just click on this again. We have 2D shapes, we have 3D shapes. Pretty basic 3D, nothing fancy in here. Then we have pretty basic, 2D shapes. Let's say I want to draw this. I can draw this. You can always choose, the color as well for each shape. So there you go. Now you also have this tool which gives you the ability to draw any kind of shape, and it will automatically detect the kind of shape that you're trying to draw and make it neater and cleaner, just like the clip art one, just like the text one, and then also the shape thing. Okay, then we have something called multi-user. This tool comes into the picture when you want to divide the screen into various parts. Let's take a very basic scenario. You have a classroom, a teacher has asked like a question, and teacher wants three students to come in front of the display and answer the same question, right? I will divide the screen into three parts. The good thing here is everybody has their own set of you know pen, different colors. They all can work on the same board, but they cannot barge into each other's territory. So there is a boundary for each of them. So they cannot mess while this question is going on. Once they are done with their homework, you can just simply click on the back button, and whatever they did gets pasted onto the same whiteboarding space. Keep in mind, first thing, everything is again editable. Second thing is whatever they are doing, it will come in a separate page for them, right? So you can ask three students to come first, then three students to come first, and then three, and so on and so forth. Depends how you want to use this tool, right? I don't want to use this board. I will just delete this one. Okay. Now moving forward, we have something called forms. What it does is essentially it adds a table onto the board here. The way it works is, first and foremost, I have an option to add and delete rows and columns the way I want to read. Let's say if you want to have, discuss this ball part, I will drop this picture of the ball. Let's make it a little neat and clean. And I also want to write ball in here. Now, pay attention to the way it reacts. So whatever I'm writing, whatever I'm dragging and dropping into my table here, it will be in a neat and clean form, right? Again, I can also adjust this and keep this on one side. Okay, so this is our form section. Browser you have already seen. Now if you come across a situation where you want to design flowcharts or come up with processes and things like this, so we've got this tool called mind map. You call it mind map. The way it works, again, you can always have different kind of frame colors depending on your usages. You can also choose the color text. Now when I use my pen here, and if I write something inside it, it will essentially try to understand what I'm writing and make it in a neat and cleaner format. During the discussion, if I need more roots to any of these processes, I can always add as many roots as I want to and can continue adding those roots to, right? Again, the thing is, this is also, you can always adjust the size and play with this thing, okay? Then we have something called notes. During your meetings, your session, you want to take down notes maybe from your participants or from your students, right? You can always keep taking notes. Maybe this is from student 1, student 2, and so on and so forth. All these notes, keep going on the top right hand side. But the thing is, you can always drag and drop these and bring them and make them a part of your discussion itself whenever you want to, right? You also got something called move, essentially a basic tool which allows you to move your page, use your basic gestures to zoom in and zoom out. You can also do this using the selection as well, using your two fingers, so that is also doable, but we have given you a dedicated tool just in case. Then a grid button. It's pretty much the same thing, just like the notes taking. On the notes part, you are typing down the information, right? But in the grid part over here, you're actually writing down the information, right? And again, as you can see, my handwriting is not good, so it's trying to detect what I'm trying to write, but let's just say this is what I want. I'll just make it small. Good thing here on this part is I can actually search for this information also, just like the one we are using the text, right? So a basic undo button, a redo button, pages section, and support. This is how overall the whiteboarding application, offers. These are all the tools that it offers you. Now, when it comes to saving and all, I have an option of saving into the internal memory. I can export in various formats over here, right? Including the IWB format, which is like a standard universal whiteboarding, right? So you can open this file pretty much on any application. Then cloud storage, sending an email, or the best way around here is using the share button. So what it does is it gives you the ability to use your devices and then just simply scan this QR code to get whatever is on the board onto your own devices, right? You don't have to be on the same network. As long as you have internet connectivity, you will get whatever was done on the board. This is the easiest method of sharing the content. Now, from there onward, you have the ability on your devices to save, share, print, WhatsApp, email, depends on how you want to save this content, right? So that's how the whiteboard works like. Some questions that people have asked us, we want to have, the whiteboard on one hand, we want to open up, let's say, a PDF file or a PowerPoint file. So I'll just show you an example here. Just close this browser for now. Now I have this, my cloud, because I'm logged in, so I have the access to my Google Cloud here. Let's see, what do we have? I'll just try to, open up a small, let's say, let's see what we have. A PPT file, for example, right? So once the file is downloaded, it will open up. Yes. Let's close this for now. Okay, so this is one of a PowerPoint file that we have that we are, let's say, discussing today. So again, I can open this on either the full half of the screen or maybe a corner of the display. And let's go back to our whiteboard here. So now again, as we were discussing before, so that's my presentation that is going on while this is my whiteboard, right? Now, there are various ways of working with a document onto the one screen monitor, right? So first thing first, you have an option to work on the document. You have an option to capture a part of the document and then work on top of it, or you can just simply have a temporary ink. The way it works is, as I mentioned you before, we have this tool called Annotate. What this tool does is it, again, I'm repeating the same thing, but it practically opens up a transparent layer on whatever is on the display. This is a temporary ink. However, if I want, I can save this thing. If I want, I can also share it via the QR code. So it will just take a screenshot of whatever is on the display and share it across, right? In the same format, I can, just save it and I can put it into the cloud as well. But the moment I close this, the ink goes away. So it's more of a temporary ink just to make things understand, right? Other way around is I can use my capture tool, which gives me the ability to, let's say, capture a certain part from anywhere on the display or any kind of application, and I can save. I can choose a window, the whole window to capture, or a full screen to capture, or just this area. And let's say I want to insert this or make this a part of my whiteboarding session. There you go. Here it comes. Now, you know before disturbing the document, I can actually capture things here. I can use my pen, let's say, right? And I can always have more pages to capture more data and keep bringing in. Or the best way around is to make everybody's life easy so people can understand what you're referring to. Instead of writing all those longer emails, you actually work on the document. So let's say I want to have my pen and I want to say fix this, right? In this case, what is happening here is this is actually working on the document. So next time when I send this document, the other person will see all these annotation and scribbling on the document, so they can fix this part. So I do not have to tell them what needs to be fixed. They can just see this themselves. Now, in this part, we do have an eraser, we have highlighter. You can always choose the color, right? Let's say I want to highlight this. I can just simply do this, and this is highlighted. Okay, so various ways of working with the document. Now you can sign your documents, you can have your attendance sheets, right, automated in this format, and then you can just simply save and share and work the way you want to work with them. Okay, so this is a PPT file, but the idea is same. So whether it's an Excel file, whether it's a Word document, whether it's a PPT file, whether it's a PDF file even, you can work in the same format. You can edit those documents in the same format too. Okay. So that's one way thing. So what I have covered right now here is I've covered the whiteboarding part. I've covered the the Explorer part over here for you. So from here side, white is covered, Explorer is covered. Browser, you have seen it's pretty easy. So there is really nothing fancy in the browser part, right? Let's talk about something which is interesting. Okay, so for this to make it easy and understandable, let's talk about the within room screen sharing, collaboration, and all those activities, right? Generally speaking, the kind of devices that we have in the world are, to start with, we have Windows, then we have Chromebooks, then we have Linux, Android based devices, and then the last we have is Apple. Right? These are generally the operating systems people are working on. Now, when we talk about these four, they are generally working with either Miracast or Chromecast. I know my handwriting is bad, so just bear with me on this thing, right? So these four operating system use these two protocols to cast their display, to share their display and so on and so forth. What Apple uses is pretty basic AirPlay, now known as screen sharing. Now, what you're seeing over here is, as I mentioned before, the OneScreen share application primarily responsible for all kind of screen sharing and controlling. When we go into the settings area, you can see it supports Chromecast, Miracast, and AirPlay. So pretty much all kind of devices are covered. You do not need to have any kind of application or dongle or any of that sort devices to be connected to your laptops or phones. You can just be on the same network or connect with the monitor hotspot and share your display, right? That's one way. Now, you can give any name to this device. There is a code refresh rate as a security, so it keeps on changing. If you do not want this to change, you can always, put it on a never part. Also, as an additional layer of security, you can also have a permission mode. So before somebody shares something to the monitor, there will be a pop-up that this device is trying to share something. Do you allow or no? And then you have the complete control of who is pushing what to the monitor part. Then we have something called a screen group, right? So the way screen group works is, let's say if I have 7 OneScreen monitors installed in a network, in a hall, right, in an auditorium, what I can do is I can create a group and make this my main display. On the other displays, I will join the group. Now what will happen is all those monitors will connect with this monitor using this code, right? If you do not have a network or a Wi-Fi network, again, connect all those monitors with this monitor's hotspot and they become a part of a single network. Now, what will essentially happen is when I do this thing, you see a small broadcast button. What it will do, the moment I click on the broadcast, whatever is here, it will get broadcasted on those monitors wirelessly. You do not need additional devices. You do not need additional application or anything whatsoever. Just be on the same network, just use the same product, and then you will be able to broadcast different things. And the broadcast is pretty strong because these monitors use Wi-Fi 6, right? So their bandwidth is really big. You can even play videos over here, and the same videos can be played back on those monitors pretty smooth, right? So let's just cancel this for now. Let's go back to the same thing. Now I'll give you a quick idea on the Miracast and AirPlay and so on and so forth. So over here, I've got this Android phone with me and an iPhone, right? To make my life easy, I have already connected these two devices with the hotspot of the display. So screen mirroring, OneScreen TL786, That's my iPhone. Now the problem here is you are actually seeing whatever is happening on my phone. So all my personal messages, notifications, and everything becomes a part of my meeting or a classroom session, right? In the same format, let me share my screen. Okay, I have to connect this onto the monitor first. Done. And now I can go and use. Now Samsung phones uses something called Smart View, right? Other phones might call it something else, but pretty much every phone nowadays has a screencasting feature on their devices. Keep in mind, when we talk about the Miracast facility, right? It not only transfers the audio and the video part, but it also transfers the touch capability. Now we are the only ones who also give you the ability to do this thing. So let's say if I want, I can actually control my phone from here. I can control pretty much any kind of Windows based device, pretty much any kind of Android based devices right from the monitor here. So I can actually do this thing. Good part here is, as you might have observed that I have the ability to maximize any one of those displays. Another thing, because we do support multi-window operations, which means I have the ability to push this maybe onto the top right hand side, maybe maximize something this display because I have a presentation open over here from my laptop for per se. I've got another document open from my let's say my Google Drive, and my whiteboard is still there, or maybe I'm having a Zoom meeting. So you get the idea, right? One more thing in here, at any given point of time, let's say if I want to take any one of these devices, you have the ability to share up to 9 devices simultaneously, but you decide to bring any one of those out, you can always use this tool which will pop out. You can minimize this window if you want to, just like this, and this is still there for me, right? If I want, I can also mute this device or push it back again to my application where I see all of those devices. So you can essentially control whatever is happening on this part, right? Now, one more thing here, because we do have, let me disconnect this, let me also disconnect this from here too. Now, one more thing here, we are also supporting Samsung DeX, right? There you go, start now. Now what essentially is happening here is I'm actually using my phone in a windowed format, right? Now I have the complete control of my phone in more like a Microsoft Windows environment format, right? Again, I'm not bound to use only one app at a time, but I can actually use multiple applications at the same time. I will not open my gallery and stuff so that because you will be seeing all those stuff. You just basically get the idea, right? So this is how the Miracast, Chromecast, and AirPlay works. Apple does not allow you the control, so unfortunately you cannot control the Apple devices, but you can control MacBooks, you can control Mac operating system, not the iPad operating system and not the iPhone, iOS. Okay, let's close this for now. Now, this is easy, pretty easy. Be on the same network, just share your display. However, we do have an application as well, which is called OneScreen Share. Right now, the way this app works is it's pretty easy. Again, you just have to be on the same network. Let me open up the share application. This app gives you slightly more better feature set than just sharing your display. I do not want to share my whole phone with the rest of the people in the room, but I want to share a specific document, for example. So I have a couple of tools to start with. First, again, very basic, start sharing your display. You share your whole display and everybody sees all those things, right? Now I have an option of sharing a media, specific media, a photo, a document, camera, remote, and desktop syncs. The way it works is pretty easy. So I'll go into the documents. Let's say I have, oh, I do have file. I have a TL7 presentation file saved on my phone. What I have done is I have just pushed this onto the monitor, right? The moment I do this thing, my phone becomes an air mouse for me. So I can actually essentially control pretty much everything that is happening over here, right? Or if I want, I can just simply close this thing, right? Now, another thing here is, so PDF, PPT, Excel, Word, any kind of document that you have in hand. Let's talk about sharing a video per se. Where I have got a couple of videos to play with. Let's say this one. Now keep in mind this video is being played from my phone directly. right? This is not saving on the device itself, it is playing live from my phone. Okay, and you can see, the response of the video is how smooth it is, right? Again, in a window format too. I can control everything pretty much from here. If you want me to play a 4K video, this is a 4K video. Okay, let's stop it from here too. So video, audio, documents are covered. Audio is pretty easy. Okay, in the same format, you can push any images as well. So I will not show that. Let's just continue with this. Now, good thing here is you can also use your, handheld devices to work as a document camera for you. So for example, if I have a document in front of me, for example, this, right? I have this card here with me. I'll take a picture of it. Now I can use my phone to work as a document camera. Now if I want to work on this specific thing, it can be a paper that somebody has brought, a homework, a file that I want to share with everyone. I can use my phone. Now again, various ways of working with this thing. Use the annotate tool to have a kind of a temporary ink, right? Or I can just simply, use my, capture tool. Again, you can use your four fingers to, open up this capture tool. You don't need to go to the section here. Capture tool and insert to the whiteboard. There you go. And let's make it a little small, and let's also rotate this thing. Okay, fair enough. So far it's okay. Now, besides this, we do have one more use case here. So whatever is happening on the monitor, I can actually see all that thing happening on my phone, on my laptop, on my tablet. There are various use cases for this thing. First is, by default, any device that uses the device sync feature on their devices, it will be just a view only, right? They cannot control anything unless, as a presenter or as a teacher, I give the access of control right from here. Once I have enabled the touch, now I have the ability to actually play around with this thing, and I can work with this, right? You can do the same thing in various multiple devices as well. Okay, so far clear? So it can, a use case, students sitting on the very end of the room, they cannot see the screen clearly. They can use their own devices. They can record whatever is happening, right, on their own laptops or tablets, whatever they're bringing in. A CEO sitting on the room, he does not want to, stand up and do annotation. He can be on their desk and he can still do all those annotation and controlling thing, provided if you pass on the control. Okay, let's close this, and then so on and so forth. So these protocols give you the ability to share your display, control, right, transfer audio, so on and so forth. But if you have one screen share, you get better feature set than just throwing up your display in front of everyone. Okay, this is essentially happening through the one screen share application, right? If you have devices that does not have the right to install even anything, and they do not have any, maybe an old laptop does not support wireless miracast and all, right? We still have something called webcast. So all they have to do is just go to this link on the Chrome devices or Chrome browser, enter this code, they can still share their display here, right? So you're not bound to use any app or any hardware. You can still do without all those things. So far clear enough? Okay, so what we have covered so far is, let's go back. So we have covered our three tools here. The whiteboarding application, the file explorer is also covered. The browser has been covered, annotate has been covered, capture has been covered, lock screen is covered, right? Let's talk about some more tools in here, basic tools. So for example, I have a timer, pretty basic, ring when the time is up. So I can start a timer in here. I can pause or reset. The other thing here is, let's say, stopwatch, right? Start a stopwatch, we have laps and then laps and then laps, right? Then we have something called spotlight, pretty basic tool, but yes, sometimes it is very important and people actually need these tools, right? Close this. Then we have something called recorder. So what recorder initially does is, it, first and foremost, you have option of recording in various formats. If you go with the highest quality, the monitor has its own internal memory, which can hold up to 35, 36 hours of recording for you, right? And then you can take off that recording into external devices, or you can save to your cloud drive directly. But then you have to wait till it uploads all that document, right? So that's one way of doing this thing. Once that is done, you can record with audio, without audio. Depends on how you want to record. If you have connected a microphone or a USB microphone, in this case we have a camera connected, which just has a microphone built in. It will record the whole thing. Whatever is happening on the display, everything will get recorded, right? I'll show you a couple of use cases behind this recording part here as well. But yes, a built-in screen recorder is also available for you. PC so this is whatever is happening on the monitor. If you want in Windows environment, we do have the OPS option available for you. You can connect a small computer on the back of the display, right? And it comes in two flavors. So we do have a Core i5 processor, Core i7 processor. Keep in mind, we do not use older generations. We always use the latest ones available, which is stable. That's the first thing important, right? Second is we give by default 16 gigabyte of RAM. We give default 512 GB of NVMe. We don't use hard drive, we don't use SSDs, we use only NVMEs because they are the fastest and the most reliable so far, right? Then we also have TPM 2.0 modules on our OPS, which means it's a dedicated hardware chip for security purposes. You cannot install Windows 11 if you don't have that chip legally. There are various ways of working around with older devices too, but from the security perspective, your devices will not be secured, right? Then Wi-Fi 6 is there, Bluetooth is there, RJ45, USBs, and all those basic connectivity things. They are all a part of the OPS part. So it's essentially a small computer. If you have it, then you can go to the PC and have two different operating systems working simultaneously. So an Android as at the same time Windows too, right? Calculator is basic, nothing to show about. Gestures. So I have already shown you, this gestures where I can have my four fingers sliding out. It opens up this. I also have like this two finger where it opens up a quick menu for me, and I can also edit this based on my requirement, right? Then we do have five fingers. So the way it works is, as a teacher, if I want all of your attention to come to me and keep my five finger on the display, it will switch off. To turn it on, I can either keep my five fingers again on this, or just press the power button once and you're back. Our timer is still working, so let's just pause this, close this. That is also waiting for us, right? So far, any question with these tools? All covered, all clear, right? Let's jump to an interesting conversation here. So for example, I go to my cloud drive. Let's say I have this PPT file. Just let's say this one, the same Oman, documentation. What I'll do is, let me just, for now, copy this into my, too many things. Let's just save this in the documents for now, right? So I'm copying a file from my cloud drive to my internal memory. While it's happening, what I'll do is I'll open up this tool called QuizWiz. This is essentially for education usage, okay? The way it works is, it's a browser-based thing linked with OneScreen. And what it does, it gives you the ability to generate quizzes pretty much from any kind of application or any kind of file that you have, any kind of URL that you're carrying. So for example, if you were discussing about that Sultanate of Oman presentation, and I was delivering a lecture to you, and I want to take a quick quiz out of that to see actually how many people were actually paying attention to what I was delivering, right? I have various options. I can upload a file, I can put a web URL. So let's say I want to upload a file, and I have the file saved on my drive here, or also the Google Drive. So let's use the internal memory for now. Yes, files or Explorer, any one of those works. This was the file, right? Now what it will do essentially is, it can be Word, PowerPoint, or PDF document, or anything, or text format. It will extract the content from that document. Right now it says there are 6 pages. Do I want to use all the pages? Let's say if the whole lecture is delivered, I'll use all the pages. I'll submit it. It will scan the file extract as much information as possible from that file and put it here. Now, I have option of generating the kind of quiz I want, multiple choice, filling the blanks, true or false, what kind of difficulty I want, right? And how many questions I want the system to generate, right? It was a small file. I'll just say, let's say only 5 quizzes. So, click on the create quiz. On the basis of the artificial intelligence, it's going to generate a couple of questions for me along with options of the answers. I can also add my own if I want to. I can also remove one of those questions, right, from my questionnaire. The good thing here is once that is done, right, I can save it. I can create a PDF file right now. I can put a text file. If I want, if I'm using the, the Google Classroom, I can also put it directly to the Google Forms and assign to the students directly from there. I can integrate via a file, or I can copy to the clipboard. Easiest way around for now, since we are having this discussion, I want a PDF file. Now this is asking for an email because it will send you two documents. One document question and options, another document questions, options, and the right answer to it. Right? So I'll just put a small basic here. Let's say adnan.m at solutions.com. Right? Once that is done, let's submit this. Now once that is done, it's gonna ask me okay, yes, one question per page, or you want all the questions in a single page, how do you want to do it? And once it's done, now I want to download this file without the correct answers because this is a quiz, right? Once we do this thing, it will download the file for us. Let's go to my Explorer, recent, and there is my PDF file. Now keep in mind, I delivered a lecture. I used the same file to actually create a quiz for me, right? Real time. Now, to make it more interesting, we have something called OneScreen class. OneScreen class is a tool that you can use for voting, polling, and such activities, right? I want you to take out your phones, right? And either use this address maybe on your laptops, or on, if you are on, let's say, you're a distant student, let's say you still want to participate, you can either go into this address and enter the code, or again the easiest way around is scan this QR code. Let's scan the QR code. All you have to do is just enter your name over there and stay. I'll also enter my name, right? Once you're done, you go back, and as a teacher I can see right now one user have joined, two have joined. Now once I enter the class, now I have this small floating tool here. What it does is, first I have a selector tool. Because we have only two, so it's giving us an option of two. But in order to avoid this the favoritism of the teachers within the classroom, you can use this tool to randomly choose one of the students, right, to actually answer this question. Now Adnan can actually give me an answer on this verbally, not on the device, right? This is a verbal thing. Okay. Now second thing is a responder. The moment I click on the start button, every student or a participant within the room has to submit their answers. Whoever is the fastest, right, their name will pop up here. So for example, this, I was the fastest to submit, right? In this case, now I'm gonna, instead of raising my hand and teacher choosing a favorite student, I am the one to answer. Now I can actually give an answer to this thing, or you know a voter thing. Let's say I want to ask answer for this question, right? Yes, let's keep it here so everybody can read the options as well and the question. Okay. Because I know it's a single choice answer, not a multiple choice, so I'll use the single choice option and I'll click on begin. Once that is started, every student has to read this question and answer this using their smart devices, laptops, tablets, whatever that they have in hand, right? So I'll just choose a random answer in here. So Adnan already answered. Now Mushtaba has also answered. When I know that all the students within the classroom has answered, their name pops up over here. I can click on the finish button and I'll get a quick overview of generally how many students chose what options. Now at any point of time as a teacher, if I'm the teacher, I know the right answer, let's say, is A. There is no one who chose A. So now I can see who are these people who have used B, right? It gives you a general overview of what was delivered right then and there. After the delivery of my lecture, I generated the quiz and I took a quick poll to understand if people were actually paying attention. Once the lecture is delivered, now I have an option. Let's say B was the correct, so it's going to convert the color for you too, just to give you an idea. Once I have delivered my lecture, I'm open for questions. When I enable the messages here on your devices, you will have a space called message. You can just type in your message and just send that message across. People can send their messages. They do not need to stand up. They do not need to shout. All they have to do is just type message that they want to ask, just like this. Right? So Adnan says this, Mustafa says this. So students can actually, ask these questions, or maybe you can use this tool within a hall or a ballroom where you have hundred of people, sitting, and you can ask these questions directly from there too. Once I'm done with the questions and everything, I can disable this thing, I can exit the session, and everybody will get disconnected from this OneScreen class. Okay? Just keep it here. Let's close this for now. So, so this is how the QuizBiz works. Learning Hub is essentially a video conferencing tool, right? Nowadays people use Zoom or Microsoft more for such activities, or Google Meets for such activities, right? But we do have a dedicated tool which is called Learning Hub. If you're interested, you can always get in touch with us. It gives slightly better feature set than just having a Zoom call, and you can also integrate it with different, LMS and systems and so on and so forth. So essentially, whatever I have shown you right now, this is what the OneScreen offers. One last thing that I want to show you here is we have something different. It's called picture in picture. It's not essentially different, but we have developed some tools for this thing. Actually, we don't have a computer connected, unfortunately. Now, still, what you will see here is the idea behind having these tools over here is if I have a computer connected, or if I'm connecting any external computer, what generally happens is the moment you switch the HDMI, right, your Android goes onto the back and your OPS, a computer or your laptop, takes precedence, right? And you lose all these tools, right? And I'll give you an example here. So let's say if I want to use, let's say, an HDMI one. What you will notice here is the moment it switches to HDMI one, all the tools are gone. You don't retain all those tools. So you are forced to use either an Android platform or a Windows platform, right? But in our case, what we have developed here is I can go here, I can be into the picture in picture, I can maximize this, I can use my HDMI one, and if I want, I can also control from here my computer or any external connected devices. At the same time, I still have all these tools, and if you want, you can also minimize these tools too. So now in this case, essentially you are seeing your laptop or your OPS inside. At the same time, you still have all of your tools available. These are some of the feature set which are not available with any brand, right now. So yep, this is your picture in picture. One of the use case scenarios people ask, they want to see when they're delivering a lecture, they want to see what is happening on their back while they're teaching something, right? So I'll give you a quick example here. Put it on the left hand side. I want to have my camera. I want to open this camera on the top right hand side so I can see my students over there too. And I also want to open my, let's say, the presentation file that I was teaching. This was the PPT file. Now what you will see over here is my PPT file is opening. There you go. And I can actually make this a little smaller. There you go. And let's make this a little smaller. right? Now I have this PPT, I can still see whatever is happening on my back. I still have my whiteboard active, and if I want, I can go into more section and I can record this whole thing, right? So there are various use cases around this thing. It depends on how you want to use this tool. Tools are there, but the creativity really needs to come from your side. One last thing that I want to show you is close this. Let me also close this. Let's open OneScreen Guru just to give you a flavor here, how easy it is to communicate with the Guru team. Let's update later. So we have Guru available in various languages: English, Spanish, Arabic, Hindi, and Urdu. Right? Right now, I'll just start a small video call. Volume. Now the monitor has a total of 32 watts output, 16 into 16, 16 plus 16, sorry, right? And it's a Dolby sound output, so pretty loud for pretty much any kind of classroom or a meeting room, right? So the person can see us over here. As you can see, two people have joined. One of them will go out. So this is our guru. Now the idea behind this team here is you can get in touch with these people not on the one screen only, but you can actually download the same application on your devices. You can speak with them there. You can schedule your live trainings and sessions and all those things at the convenience of your time. The good thing is I'm not asking you to have these trainings within your office timings or your school timings or university timings. You can take this training even after your working hours, even after your dinner, after your home chores. These guys are available 24 by 6 now, right? We are covering the whole Middle East and Africa region from this part. So whenever you want any kind of training or any help, you can speak with these guys. There is no bot, nothing of this sort. Yes, if you want videos, we do have videos. You want literature, we have literature. You want to have small videos for each thing that I have shown you today. You can have all those videos in different sections. You can have multiple trainings on a single product. You can have group trainings. Depends on how you want to curate this thing. Their job is to make sure that the kind of investment that you have done in your environment, they will make sure that you get your ROIs against this thing. This is one of the guys. Thank you so much, man. I was just giving a small session over here. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you. Bye now. So this is how overall the OneScreen works. All these things that you have seen right now, this is all happening on just the monitor. I have not even touched the OPS part where you have more flexibility, when it comes into the Windows environment. And it comes with the Windows 11 pre-installed on our OPS, pre-activated, so you're good to go, to ready to use, right? Once I have delivered my lecture and everything, I'll just simply sign out from here. Yes, direct log out. So it's going to clean my settings and files and every single thing, close the app, revert back to the same guest user, and I'm done. So this is how the OneScreen, delivers you.